For reasons unexpected, I find myself glad that I began LPing this project. I'm not going to begin the dungeon just yet, because, in fact, I'm putting the controller down. And forgive me, but I think it is appropriate to monologue for a minute. Because, yes, I have complained about various aspects of this game, and I've been thinking about it, and I realized that all of it really boils down to one concept, and the balance of this concept: player convenience. That's what it really all comes down to. Now, there are some things that this game has done which I feel like are the complete bane and utter antithesis of player convenience. But you have to ask yourself, okay, so how far do you take player convenience? Because if you make things too convenient, then you start to remove the intricacies, you start to remove the difficulties, you start to remove what makes a game interesting. So there's a balance to strike. But I feel like this game, I don't know the motive of why, like what the exact design ethic was behind this, but, well, I can hazard a guess. I mean, this was like, what, some 20-odd years ago, so I can't say for certain. But I would go so far as to hazard a guess as to what was the idea behind the two main forms of player inconvenience that I feel that this game has committed. And I want to talk about those briefly. So, first off, I want to note how weird it is, a certain concept that comes to light. At the end of the last video, I found myself thinking, oh, thank God, I get to do another dungeon, because that's where the fun stuff is. The fun stuff is in the dungeon, and all the annoying bullshitty crap is on the overworld. So this is, like in a reverse sense, like almost paradoxically, this is my haven. This is the place that I want to be in the game. The overworld is stupid and dumb and annoying, and I've been hating it so far. Which is really kind of weird when you think about it, because if you had somebody who is, like, in real life in a situation like this, having to go into a dungeon, this is a place of peril. This is a place of traps and potential death. You know, sure, there's great rewards to be gained, but only at great risk. Even the most gung-ho hero would not go into a dungeon without some amount of anxiety. And yet I find my anxiety relieved when I go into the dungeon, because I have faith that there's going to be less bullshit there because of the 4 that I've already gone through. They've been pretty cool so far. So, that's the thing that strikes me as odd about the one aspect of the player convenience that I was thinking about, because the stupid fucking fetch questing that's been going on in the overworld, I don't think it's necessary, like, at all. And there's ways to get players involved with something, doing stuff on the overworld, that A, isn't as drawn out, B, is less annoying, and C, has more tangible benefits. Let's touch on each of those points briefly. So A, isn't as drawn out. If you have to do some kind of a fetch quest thing, make it quick, make it short, make it simple, make it to the point. A couple of examples I can give in another Zelda game. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. There was a point at which you do a little fetch quest in taking a locked box to a disaffected locksmith who opens it up for you. That's a short trek across the map, and so there's another aspect, but I'll get back to it. That's one example. That didn't take very long. And you knew where he was already because you'd been talking to him a couple of times before reaching the abandoned house where that treasure chest was. For 2, talking to a tsundere bat at a shrine who gives you... Well, here, that's the reward. We'll get back to that later. All you're doing is sprinkling powder on a shrine. Example 3, a little fetch quest where you are getting a dwarf out of the dark world and taking him back to his place where he can work on your sword, and that again gets us to the reward. We'll get back to you. But these examples are all really pretty short. Even like the longest of those is the one where you're taking the chest to the locksmith, and even then, that's only long if you didn't know where it was. So maybe that's a little bit on par with some of the things here. But the other 2, I'm still saying that's less egregious for a couple of other reasons. The other 2 examples are much shorter than what we've seen so far in this game. B, the second point I mentioned, annoyance. So the ghost making noises and constantly popping up text boxes, having to go find Marin and sit through a little cutscene so I can have her sing for a walrus when I have the song myself? Why did she have to be there? She had to be there because there was a cutscene. The thing with... I have no idea. The thing with Chompy, well, still a little bit amusing. I question going in to kill bandits, like what exactly that contributes either to the gameplay experience or to the story. And I don't even want there to be a focus on story at all. You know how I am. But even if there were one, what did the story gain exactly by having those criminals steal a chain chomp? Why did they want the chain chomp? What is gained? What is accomplished by this? I don't know. Maybe it'll all tie together throughout the rest of the game's tale, but I sincerely doubt it. No, my strongest suspicion is that the game designers put it there for filler, for texture, for world experience. It doesn't really feel like I'm exploring a world. That's not a good kind of world experience because you're just telling me to go do a thing. It's a fetch quest, and that's abysmal and terrible and awful, and fetch questing should never be in adventure games. And this actually brings me to point C, the reward. So what was the reward that I got for the first fetch quest there? Chompy. And what does he do? He basically plays the game for me for a short while. He makes it so I don't have to fight, which sucks. I want to fight. I like killing things. And what was the real reward you got out of that? He cleared a path so you could get access to a dungeon. Okay, why couldn't I have done that myself? Why couldn't have I had some ability that was cleverly integrated into my powers as a character and into the map design, such that it would give me a power to get into the dungeon and give me something to make me more potent generally, something I'd be able to use elsewhere in the game, like maybe a hook shot. So all Chompy did was clear a path for me, and then he was gone. That's it. So I have no long-term reward from that whatsoever. So aside from a little bit of passing amusement, that there was no reward to that. So the thing with Marin, or however the hell you're going to pronounce her name, she opened a path for me that I could have done myself. I don't even know what the fuck the point is of having this ocarina at this point. I haven't been able to use either of these two songs yet. I don't know I don't even know why I'd have this, if not to sing it for the walrus. That blows my mind that you would give me this song that she provided me, and then I'd have to still go fetch quest her and take her to the walrus to open the path to the desert. No reward there whatsoever, and indeed it feels somewhat redundant versus the logic in the game that I've been given so far. Zero reward there. The last thing with the ghost. Super annoying, like I mentioned, and what's the ultimate reward? A seashell. I could have just gotten that fucking seashell by picking up a pot. I didn't need to have that ghost following me around. Again, what does the ghost add to the game? Is there some story thing that's going to tie in later on? Is the windfish going to talk to me about the disaffected spirits on here? I really wonder what it was that the game designers wanted to put into the game, what they thought that the ghost would bring to it and enrich in the experience of it. It just seems like some filler bullshit, something for me to do with a minimal reward. It's awful. And I know this sounds like complaining, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to bitch unlimited. I'm trying to discuss a point. I can't discuss, of course, because you're not talking back to me, so I'm monologuing. But by all means, if you want to comment on the points I'm saying, leave a novel in the comments. I will be happy to read, and if I have the time, reply to what you said. Usually I would just reply in the video, but yeah, so I would really wonder why this is okay, why people could defend this. I mean, the best thing that I've heard so far is, OUD, it's not that bad. OUD, it's an okay thing to have to put up with. You know, something to set aside the concern and say it's not... It just shouldn't be there, is my main point. Like, as I mentioned in the last video, I care about good, solid, tight, clean, intelligent, clever, creative game design. And the stuff that I've had happen on the overworld so far has been stupid bullshit filler. It's been people treating me as an errand boy when I'm supposed to be this heroic adventurer knight who treks into the unknown and slays evil and gets badass weapons, and it's just awful. That's why I'm disliking the overworld so much. The dungeons are actually fun and interesting comparatively. So here, that's my, in very many words, that's my gripe about the overworld experience of this game. Not structured well at all. Too much particle board, not enough actual meat. Bad metaphor, because you wouldn't eat particle board meat, and nor would you build something with particle board and meat, so you get the point, though. Too much filler, not enough substance. Sucks. I'm hating the overworld so far. So, the other thing that I've mentioned repeatedly, and I want to, again, attempt to discuss, attempt to just monologue and talk about, without trying to sound too much of a bitch, I want to sound like I have a good solid reason for bringing these concerns to light, is the control convenience of having to switch out my items frequently. Now, people have mentioned to me repeatedly, well, UD, there's only 2 action buttons. Let's think about it. We're talking about a Game Boy game. So we have the D-pad, and so that means D-pad is off limits. You need that to move around on maps. You need it to move cursor around on menus. Okay, fine. So D-pad's off limits. Start and select. Let's say that we wanted to dedicate those 2 buttons to map and menu. Okay, fine. So those 2 buttons are off limits. That means the only buttons we have to work with are A and B. Okay. I'll grant that. I certainly couldn't imagine a better way for it to be done, with with the limited number of inputs that we had. Okay, now I can somewhat appreciate the paradigm, or at least the intent behind the paradigm that the designers were going with here. You have 2 command buttons. You can assign any item, any of your active inventory, to these command buttons arbitrarily. Sounds pretty good. Now this doesn't quite cut it though for 2 of the items that I have. Now, I'll admit that there's 1, maybe more of these that I don't have an answer for, and it might require some redesigning of the levels, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So there's 2 of these items. The bangle and the shield. I do not know, I do not understand why in the good fucking hell these items could not have been passive. So what benefit have I gotten? What's been the actual functional gameplay premise, the point of having the shield be a usable item rather than just having it be part of my passive inventory? It's because I can hold the shield up. Okay, well, in other Zelda games that I've played, again, Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds, the shield was just always up when you weren't doing something else. This means standing still, you would block a projectile. You didn't have to actively be using the shield. There's no way that there's no reason why you couldn't be doing this here. What was the other thing? There's one variety of enemy that I've run into so far, the spike-back turtles, that you have to bump with the shield to get them to fall over. Why couldn't we have just done that before? With the in this other method that I'm talking about, why couldn't we just do that with the shield automatically held up at all times? If you didn't want to do it with that, maybe you say you wanted to have the player do some action, not just be passive, but do some action to knock the turtles over. Why not use the fucking sword? You could poke them. You could say that the command to do this would be a poke. You could say you have to have a full charge sword swing to knock them over, and nothing else would do. I can kind of appreciate the idea behind having to use a sword block, but it's more trouble than it's worth because it would require the shield to take up one of your active inventory slots, one of your command button slots. This shield could have been a permanent passive item. How frequently have I needed to knock over those turtles? Not very frequently. How frequently have I needed to block projectiles? All the fucking time. This thing should have been a passive item, and it should have been something that I'm just wearing all the time as soon as I acquired it. And I should just be blocking so long as I'm not doing something else. This should not be a command button item. It should be down here in the lower right with my hearts and my armor. There's no excuse for that. I mean, if you really wanted the idea of having to knock over the turtles, and if you have to accept some kind of control inconvenience to the player to make that happen, change the paradigm. Don't do something if it doesn't work. And that falls in further, goes on further to the bangle. This thing is the most egregious lack of control convenience I have seen in this game so far. There is literally zero fucking reason why that bangle could not have been a passive item. And you know why I say that? The game has the contextual hitbox detection to know when I graze a liftable or pushable item, even if I'm grazing it involuntarily, if an enemy is knocking me into it. If I graze an item and I don't have this bangle either in my inventory or I don't have it equipped, it pops up a text box. So the game has the hitbox collision detection to know contextually when this bangle is supposed to be useful. Therefore, there's no reason why it couldn't just be always on. There's no reason why it couldn't just be there whenever it was necessary. Again, like Link to the Past and like Link Between Worlds. This doesn't have to be an active inventory item, and indeed it's super inconvenient to have it be that way. So that's the worst one. Zero excuse for that. The bangle should be a passive item. No reason not to be. I mean, the fucking flippers are a passive item. Granted, you have the environmental difference of water, but couldn't you also treat being near a stone as an environmental difference? It's all just contextual, and the game's engine has proven it can do that. So those two, bangle and shield, no reason those couldn't be passive. Those don't need to be taking up buttons. And switching in and out of the bangle every time I need to pick up a rock, awful, 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 terrible. Bad game design decision. Alright, so what about the others? I want to run through each of these and see, is there any other way that these things could have been integrated into passive inventory, or do we need to keep them as active command buttons and therefore have to maintain this paradigm of switching things out frequently? So first off, sword. Obviously, you're going to assume the player's going to want to have this equipped most of the time, and that leaves you with one slot to play around with. Now, given this game's unusual, albeit occasional, but still an unusually high emphasis on platforming elements, not only in the horizontal view segments, but also in the just jumping over pits, which is happening reasonably frequently. The game designer should have assumed that the player would want to have the rock feather equipped most of the time as the secondary item. They should think about that ahead of time and just realize, yeah, the player will want to have that in their secondary slot for maybe 80% of the game. That should just be your default position. And then for most situations, you could swap out the rock feather for items that you need pretty rarely by comparison. Like, you occasionally need bombs. Okay, not a big deal. Every Zelda game has you switch bombs into active buttons. Okay, we can let that go. Same for powder. Alright, same for the shovel. Alright, same for the ocarina. Okay. All of these things are used infrequently enough that I wouldn't be upset having to switch those into the secondary weapon slot. Secondary active button slot. They're used infrequently enough that it's not that big of a deal. It happened in the other Zelda games. It was fine. That wasn't bugging me. The only other thing that might concern me is the boots. And this is where my difficulty lies. Because given the limited number of buttons that we have to work with, and the fact that you don't really have a contextual clue of where you'd want to use the boots, that I think is the biggest problem. Because the boots, I mean, there really is no limiting context for the most part. You can use the boots to dash anywhere that you would run, or anywhere that you would just walk normally. So you can't really limit this to a contextual clue because the context is everywhere. And I could see on occasion maybe maintaining this paradigm so that you could swap out the feather for the boots, so that instead of having a jumping power, you would have a running power. The real conflict comes in the rare situations where you need to jump a long distance. Again, this focuses on the game's unusual emphasis on platforming elements, so having a dash jump, in effect, which means the only way you can work that out, given the number of buttons we have to work with, is to have no weapon equipped, is to have both the rock feather and the boots out. So, where does that leave us? The number of times where we've had to dash jump is, at least so far, been pretty darn infrequent. I would say less frequent than bombing walls, about as frequent as having to shovel things or powder things. So I don't think the idea of having these two buttons that you need to swap things out for is inherently bad. You know, you can customize into a specialized combination like the rock feather and the boots to take care of unusual situations, but they should have thought ahead of time the inconvenience of having to swap out thing after thing after thing after thing over and over again for stuff that you run into really frequently, like just normal pits that you'd have to jump over. You have to switch out for the rock feather relatively frequently. Stuff that you have to lift, you have to switch out for the bangle relatively frequently. And I think just putting the shield and like you could compromise here and get something that achieves a better balance of player convenience while still maintaining a somewhat flexible control paradigm. Because if you restrict yourself, ironically, if you restrict yourself to that flexibility and put all these items in that flexible paradigm, you're creating restrictions, which is the truest form of irony, that's causing real inconvenience and annoyance for having to frequently switch out these items. This is getting really complicated to talk about, but I think you're following with what I'm saying. So I would say my compromise would be shield and bangle, passive inventory. There is no reason that you would need to have this level of inconvenience to adhere to the paradigm that tightly. Shield and bangle should be passive inventory. Keep the A and B button be assignable to anything in your active inventory. On rare occasion, you can combine the boots and the feather. Okay. You can, when you're on the overworld or in dungeons, you can choose between your two main mobility upgrades. Do you want to run or do you want to jump? I wouldn't feel upset at only having one of those most of the time. I don't think most players would feel upset at only having one of those most of the time and needing to sacrifice your attack capability to be able to do multiple, having both movement upgrades, because that's a significant trade-off. I mean, you're losing your offensive capability, but you're gaining the ability to avoid enemies and to traverse obstacles. So it's a reasonable trade-off, especially if you wouldn't have to do it all that often. And besides, speedrunners would probably love it. So that would be my compromise. Shield, bangle, passive inventory. The rest of it you could leave more or less the same. It would be so much better balanced. So much better balanced. They just adhered to a certain paradigm too tightly, and it's created problems. I can only hope that this is fixed maybe in Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. I don't know. And I hope nobody spoils that for me, although somebody probably will. Okay. Sorry about that long rant. And I do welcome feedback. And I'm not trying to complain so much as I am trying to discuss. I'm seeing some stuff in this game that is really upsetting and it appears to me to be incorrect and wouldn't be that hard to resolve. That's my concern. So anyway, I've talked enough about that. So this is a dungeon. Catfish Maw, and again, this is like where I actually want to be, so I'm betting this is too far, but let's try it. The dash jump. Yeah, no. And because it's just farther than where I can go, if there is a hook shot in this game, I'm betting this is the dungeon I'll get it in. We'll see. God, that was a lot of talking. Now my throat kind of hurts. I made my bed. Yeah, okay. A new feature, you don't say. Yes. I don't even care. I don't have to kill you guys, do I? Although I do wonder if I can interact with these statues. No, let's not worry about that just yet. Every one of these 2D platforming segments that comes up proves me more correct. Ooh, that's kind of clever. Although, not really difficult to negotiate, but a little bit clever. Ah! Jerkwad. He was like, you get out of my house! Okay, there's a key in here, according to the chime. I find it interesting that the dungeon bestowed the compass upon me so early and so easily. Maybe specifically because the developer knew that I would come to this room next, hear the chime, and know that I had to search for a key. So let's push these blocks, see what happens. Maybe I'm supposed to push them together into a square. Let's try that. Means killing these dude bros again. Because just by looking at this room, I wouldn't necessarily know that there's something to find in it. Because there's been plenty of rooms in these dungeons so far that I've found that have just been, full of garbage simply to make it complicated to traverse. See, that was weird. There's no reason that I would have thought to do that, except A, that I heard the chime saying that there's a key here, and B, symmetry. And also, there's a limited number of ways that you can push those blocks, so brute forcing would eventually get you there. And it's not even a super bad amount of brute forcing. What the hell's going on in this room? Let's equip the bangle. Oh boy. So you can't push the blocks at all because they're cornered off. Yeah, I bet I should be coming back here to do something later. Anyway, I have a key now, so I can go back to that room, or to that door. This is more difficult to do now because of the side I'm coming from. Oh, but actually no, because I can just return, because there's ladders. Oh, now I have to kill these things to get out of here. This doesn't penetrate shields, does it? Nope. Which makes it effectively worthless, because these guys are really vulnerable from behind. I don't like the text box, but I do like one-shotting things and knocking them into a far wall. That's pretty fun. I wonder, like, in theory, the benefit of the text box in getting either a Guardian Acorn or a piece of power only really has a benefit the first time you see it. Perhaps maybe the second or third time if you're just really bad at paying attention. So, say if you wanted to abolish the text box for that entirely and maintain a better gameplay flow, would it really be that bad just to have it there be no text box, not even on the first time, and just have the effect? I mean, I think during this era they were still expecting people to read the instruction manuals. Well, not expecting them necessarily, depends on the developer. But, I mean, again, you can do all this stuff in gameplay cues, and the fact that I pick up this thing, I have a chime song playing now, and all of a sudden I can one-shot enemies and knock them into walls, I'll probably get it after the first time or two. I don't know that the text box was ever necessary with that. Again, not trying to bitch, and I'm sorry. I wish there was a way I could, like, talk about it without trying to seem like a whiny asshole, because really, that's not my purpose. I'm not like, people don't make the games the way I want. This is just the shit I notice. I want to, I don't know, bring these concerns to light, have them be discussed and thought about. I mean, if there's a way to improve a game, why not do it? This is, I mean, video gaming is art, and art is intrinsically an aesthetic practice. So why not pursue aesthetics? That's my thought. I know. I got the impression sometimes that a lot of people kind of get to the point where they just don't care. They just want to enjoy it for what it is. I can kind of appreciate that, because then you're not thinking too hard and you're not undergoing, like, a lot of mental stress. I have no idea how to get through that without getting hit. Oh, maybe dash running. Okay, let me get back there. I'm going to go to a different screen first. Let's see. Can I even see rooms I've already been to? Well, that's weird. Are the rooms filling in random order? That's odd. Yeah, on the map. But, so I was talking about, I get a lot of kickback from people who are like, UD, you complain too much, just let it lie, just enjoy things the way they are. And I can kind of appreciate that. I can kind of see it, because maybe you just want to enjoy it for what it is. Maybe you don't want to have to think too hard. Maybe you don't want to pick things apart that don't need to be. But I'm sorry, that's not how my brain works. I tinker, I analyze, I dissect. I do this involuntarily. I can't help it. It's how my brain works. If you can't destroy a skeleton with your sword, try using a bomb. Okay. Yep. Okay, this is seemingly identical to the thing happening in Link to the Past and, what was it, Dungeon 5? Except this is a mid-boss rather than just a one-time an enemy, so I have to do it multiple times rather than an enemy that you just kill once to get into a room. First attempting this one, I bet. Ow! That hurt. Oh, something else I wanted to mention about the overworld. Again, not a complaint per se, but... Arrgh, I can't beat you. I'm out of here. It is rare. It is rare that an enemy NPC does that before I do. There's been plenty of times where I've backed off from a challenge because I didn't think I was ready for it, but that's the first time in a while that an enemy has done that. I've got what was inside this box. Come and get it if you can. Master Skull. Okay, is that the guy I would just fought, or is that one of Master Skull's minions? I don't know. Yeah, so something I was going to say about the overworld. Again, not trying to be a direct complainer, but I have found the overworld so far to be so unpleasant that unless something really easily presents itself to me, I don't know that I'm going to go out of my way to seek upgrades. Because I would just, at this point, I'm feeling like I just want to get through it so I can get to the dungeons and the fun part. You know, it's just something that I endure so I can get to the fun part of this game, the good stuff. For 2, Zelda games aren't really truly ever super that hard. I'm like, what's the worst challenge that this game has thrown at me so far? The first boss that took, what, 10 attempts? Because I was sucking in and forgot that I had a jump ability, and the jump ability made it super easy. That's my fault. So... Oh, hi dude. Yep, jumping fish, all the more Mario. Yeah, so... Because Zelda games aren't super hard, I don't know that I would seek out those upgrades. I don't think I'm gonna, like, try to fight my way to completionism before taking on the final boss, whatever it is. Zelda games aren't super hard, usually. I mean, sure, if I don't have all my upgrades, the final boss is probably going to take me more attempts. But I am 1,000% more willing to spend time on becoming good at a boss fight than I am to spend time on watching people talk, than I am to spend time on running around doing fetch questing. That's more than a worthy trade-off. I'd be willing to spend 3 times the minutes, 3 times the hours on boss attempting than I would be, like, 1/3 of the time on doing fetch questing or watching people talk. And I've discussed the reasons why to great extent. Okay, what did he say? Dive under where torchlight beams do cross. Yeah, so don't expect a completionist run out of me. I'm here for the dungeons at this point. The overworld does not hold any joy for me. Where the beams do cross. That looks like a Bowser effigy up there. That's like it looks like a facade of Bowser's face. Where the beams do cross. Usually the clues that those owls give have very obvious visual hints as to where they're enacted. Like that thing about the sparkling tiles in the last dungeon. As soon as I saw what it was talking about, it was incredibly obvious. Let's see, I should be able to push out one tile, one block here. As soon as that death thing of death goes away. I'll just do this. I don't have a key, do I? Nope. Already been here. Oh, that was a one-way too, damn it. Wait, can I shock cancel projectiles with my sword? Oh, I can! God damn, well that makes the shield even more ridiculous. With a monologue at the beginning of this video, plus the dungeon, I'm wondering how long this is going to be. Alright, so let's try the combination of these two, so... The door closed. The door... Oh, I have to hookshot my way across, don't I? That's the only way I could move so quickly, like, grapple onto that block over there. That's the only way I could move so quickly that the things don't hit me. Yeah, so this... Also... Oh, I probably have to... I see a hook up there. I probably have to hookshot that and pull it down to do something in this room. And I don't have my sword. So now what? I know there's paths in this dungeon I have not yet taken. But you have seen me do this already. So how about I just... Well, let's go up here. Did this guy already tell me something? Yeah, if you can't destroy a skeleton, blah, blah, blah. Which means here's the boss arena right up here. Why is there this one solitary block in the middle of nowhere? No reason. No reason at all. Did I already go up here? I did not, so let's look at this. Oh, yeah, I can only travel one direction at a time. There was a movement gimmick similar to this, too, in Link to the Past. Yeah, okay, thanks. Hit detection. Worst use of hit detection in all of gaming. IMO. Sorry, it's late, and I've been talking a lot today on a Skype call, so my voice is a little bit raspy. Any point to breaking these things? I didn't hear a chime, so there's probably no key. Yeah, let's get this thing, why not? Let's dive. Oh! Oh! More Mario underwater enemies. God damn it. Those squids. These things have an official name. I forgot what they are. I don't want to go down, so I have to equip the rock feather to come back up. Ah, yeah, most certainly need the hookshot for that. Can't do this yet. Okay, let me find a new area off camera. This is a new area. This is immediately above the room where I dove down. Again, let's get the bangle out. I can only see having to smash these pots before I can move this brick. So is this an exit path? Well, no, because the pots are on both sides, aren't they? No, they're not. Yeah, so I'm only seeing this as an exit. Where does that leave me exactly then? I guess so. Whoa, whoa, this is weird. I'm holding my sword up and this thing's not hurting me. It's gonna hurt me if I have to move, though. Yep, there it is. Yeah. Well, I got these other paths to go through. Let's go up top. Ah. I kill enemies just because it feels good. Just because I like it. I don't need somebody to tell me to do it. Not pushing that. But I can jump. I might be able to jump this long chasm here. Let's get down here first off. Can I make that? I might be able to make that. I don't know if I have enough run-up room, but let's try it. Yeah, waiting until I get over... Waiting until I actually get to the ledge. Ah, yes, I can make it. And it's just rupees. Oh well. I'm getting very close enough to get to the bow and arrow. Well, just the bow. I've been collecting arrows already, haven't I? Like, how many do I have? Maybe I have like an ammunition counter that only shows on the bow when I have it in my inventory. That could be a thing. Yep, another hookshot thing. There's just so much here that could only be a hookshot. Like this. I'm only seeing this happen with a hookshot. Yeah. Haven't gone up here, I don't think. I'm gonna lift up the pots, just because there's probably hearts under here. And finding random heart drops is a prime way that I keep my health in shape. I do like dungeoneering, when I'm actually allowed to do it. Dungeoneering. Oh, this is the room I came from, that I was at before, in the lower left-hand corner there. This looks like a room where I'd be fighting a dude. I've seen a couple of those rooms now, where I didn't actually fight a dude. Speaking of health refills, how good is this? The map? Okay, good, good. see. It's a large dungeon. There's a few rooms I haven't explored. Tisk. There's got to be some point to this room. There's 2 of these rooms now where it's been large, but nothing's really happened in it. This one, too, honestly, same as the piece of power here. I could see getting by just fine without the text box, even on the first one, because you'd notice that you weren't taking damage. See? Ah, here we are. The boss dude again. Dude, you should know. I didn't even... Okay, so I took a hit, but... Gulp, you found me. You're a real pesky kid, you know that? Oh, I gotta hit him with a sword first. Yep. Can't attack him on a shield side. The sound effect... Actually, now that I think of it, so the sound effect... Well, arg, I can't beat you, I'm out of here. It occurs to me that the sound effect of him collapsing sounds a lot like the sound effect, a certain sound effect in Super Mario Land 2, what was that, Legend of the Six Coins? A certain sound effect when you take a hit and you lose a hit point and like Mario shrinks or goes down a power level. The I mean, I can't vocally reproduce it, but it sounds a lot like that. And it occurs to me that many of the sound effects in this game sound a lot like that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's sharing a similar sound bank. There's some unique stuff. But I'm sure, like, all video games forever have had sound banks that they pull from, and sometimes they'd overlap. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to find the other rooms that I haven't yet found that dude in, and that look like they'd be a boss arena. Wasn't I supposed to kill some green slimes to... Or is it just lifting up the pots? Did I step on a switch and forget about it? Why is this door closed now? This slime's supposed to come up if I walk above it, where it pops up out of the ground. Oh, do I have to kill this guy too? Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Here we go. Yeah, I have to chase him around to all these rooms. Okay. Bombs! And I'm betting I'll have to go back to the beginning now, where I found that first room where nothing was happening in it. Arrgh, I can't beat you, I'm out of here. So that was the same message he gave me the first time, which makes me think that I'm missing something crucial in beating him. And I wonder if I'll just end up chasing him around all these rooms indefinitely until I find out what that certain something is. But I will go back to the first room and figure out WTF. WTF. Double U, so 2 U's, a T, like something you put a golf ball on, and F. WTF. I didn't find one of those rooms on the other side of this thing, did I? I'm just gonna go back to the first one at the beginning. I'll be back. Okay, here's that room, I think. Or was it? I went down here, I think. Ugh. I suck at things. There we are. Why am I showing you this? You've seen this already. That's one room to the side. Who cares? Let's just do it. Ah, fuck me. Nope. Okay, I'll come back. Oh, okay, this was it. I keep going to the world map. This is where... Wow, it's a weird jump how the stairs took me, but whatever. Alright, let's, I wonder if this is going to be like a last confrontation. You again. You keep going and going. I can't outlast you. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it indeed. Stop running away so I can kill you. That sword slash does hurt. Thankfully, he telegraphs it for a million years, but, gotta watch out for it. I'm a lot faster than he is, though. And... what's this? A hookshot? Please tell me it's a hookshot. Yes! Hookshot. Alright, let's shot some hooks. That's a really goofy looking sprite, but whatever, if it gets the job done. Okay. So that opens up some shizbiz. Let me go back to a place where this is actually useful. First spot near the beginning of the dungeon where this is likely to be useful. Yay! Oh, 200 rupees. You're ecstatic. I actually am. Because that just maxed it out, didn't it? Yup. Which means every rupee I get from between now and buying the bow is going to be wasted. Oh well, I guess so. If you want to make an omelet, you have to break some eggs. I never understood that expression. If you want to make an omelet, you have to break some eggs. I mean, breaking an egg is not particularly a tragedy to get this thing that you want, i.e. having an omelet. So why are we equating that to something bad via the metaphor? I don't get it. Anyway, let me find another place where the hookshot's useful. Ha! Here's something where the hookshot is useful. That one-shots these skeletons and they don't jump away from it because it's not a swing of my sword. It's going to make killing these skeletons a lot easier. Also, this thing's just over here for no reason. Yeah, it just pulls me to it. There was something right around here, I was pretty sure. Okay, let me find something. I wonder, might I be able to hookshot, like, while I'm on a ladder into a wall? I can't face left. Huh. Could I maybe jump and hookshot? Because I can't see how to get up where those Goombas are. Let's try this. Maybe jump off the ladder and then shoot them. Well, let's see. It doesn't grapple into walls in any case. Yeah, so that's not going to get me up there. Alright, guess that wasn't good. Here's a spot that almost certainly uses the hookshot. Oh. Okay, so it makes a bridge, but I've been on both sides of this already before, so what's the point? Oh, I can get to the pot. What's underneath the pot? Let's find out. A fairy. Well, I needed it, so I shouldn't complain too much. Herp derp in the room right next to me. Here's a place where the hookshot is necessary. Yay! Progression! Using items for their established purpose. This for certain. In fact, I wonder if that's the nightmare key. Actually, I've seen a couple of key bricks, so this could just be a regular key to get access to those bricks. And kill these douche bros. So I'm going messing up my vibe. Yeah, fall into the pit. That's all you're good for, is falling into pits. And yes, I'm going to uplift these pots. What, on the off chance that there's a single heart? Oh, I could have used these pots to kill those dudes more easily. Yep, there's a key. Alright, so I gotta go find a key brick. I'm an idiot. I can use the hookshot upwards and grapple onto the Bowser facade. Also, I'm finding out the hookshot seems to be a pretty decent weapon. I'm not finding stuff that it doesn't kill yet. So what was the point of coming up here other than killing those Goombas? I mean, that gets me back that way for sure. Just to show me that I can. Herp derp. Oh, there's the key brick right here. Yeah, the hookshot's proving not to be a bad weapon. I might just keep it out for a little bit, especially since it's so relevant in this dungeon. I forgot to mention, even in games like Link to the Past and Link Between Worlds, yes, you were switching out weapons, or items, for a secondary usage slot beside your sword. But oftentimes when you were doing that, especially if you were in a dungeon, oh boy, another mid-boss, especially if you were in a dungeon, you could have a relative degree of assurance that you'd be using a particular item a lot in kind of a contiguous chunk of space and time, like a contiguous area of the game and for a decent amount of time. So you wouldn't be switching out rapidly. In this dungeon, I am constantly, like as I've been negotiating the screens off camera, I have been constantly switching out rock feather, bangle, hookshot, sword, rock feather, bangle, hookshot, sword. I've just been going back and forth, and it's really annoying. But let's try to hookshot these dudes. Bro, that didn't hurt him at all. Okay. So much for this thing being a weapon. Or maybe I just have to wait for you to open your mouth. Let's get out my shield and see if I can block those projectiles better. I'm betting that eye is your vulnerable spot. Yep, I hurt you with the hookshot just now. I gotta time it properly. Ah. You're not really spiders, you're crabs. I wonder if you're spider crabs, or crab spiders. Come on, dude, bro, open your eye, so I can stab it with a hook. This is going really well. You choose to be vulnerable, sir. I don't know if I could provoke you into vulnerability. Enough of the hookshot, let's just get my sword out. I gotta be really close to you, which doesn't give me much room to evade that projectile. And you telegraph when you're gonna dive at me by shaking around a little bit first. Can I just reflect the projectile back at you? No. My shield neutralizes it, but it doesn't reflect it. Come on, dude. Open up. Oh, that's right. I can shot cancel, so I'll just slash my sword and see if I can hurt him at the same time. Although my sword's ability to hurt it might be neutralized by the projectile. Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure the hitbox of my sword was within the hitbox of its eye. What can I do to make you keep your eye open longer? Whoa, whoa! Okay, you went back to you left your planes, both of you, for a minute there. I'm not seeing how to provoke you into attacking, I'm just waiting until you choose to be vulnerable. That's not really the best thing. Can I attack you from behind? What causes you to open your eye? Is there any action I can have to cause you to open your eye? Let's just leave and reset this stupid fight. Come on, dude. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. You know you're gonna die eventually. It's just a matter of me putting in the patience. Your window of vulnerability is tiny. Maybe I have to use the hookshot because I can attack from a distance. How are you going to telegraph if you're going to open your eye? I can see you're shaking a little bit when you're going to lunge at me. What do you do when you're about to open your eye? I'm also frozen in place when I use the hookshot, which is going to make you dodging your projectile a little bit more difficult. This fight is dumb. I can't see that I can do anything to open up his eye. I'm just at the mercy of the RNG here. I don't even see a pattern to when they open their eye. Like, seriously, what can I do to provoke this? Like, oh god, you see, I was nowhere in a position where I could attack him with any of my weapons. Do I have to stay close to you, or what? So you stand still for a minute, but it's hardly enough time for me to get close and do anything. Do I have frames when I'm using the hookshot? Yeah, it looks like the projectile passed right through me when I was frozen still by the hookshot. So I have frames with this. Not really. Yes, no, I don't have frames. Fuck it. Here we are again. I'm very confused by this fight. I don't see a way to do anything. It is incredibly lame being forced to wait for an enemy. Like, I've always hated it. Like, conditional vulnerability is one thing. I mean, if there's a set pace, if there's a defined pattern so I know when the enemy is going to be vulnerable so I can be prepared and ready to do it, that's fine. If you have a long degree of, even if it's random, if you have a long degree of telegraphing, so I can put myself into position to take advantage of it. Maybe I can't take advantage of it all the time, because sometimes I'm an idiot, I'm where I place myself, and I'm not smart about how I do things. That's fine. But when the enemy decides entirely when to be vulnerable, and when the window of vulnerability is very small, that's just a bullshit situation. That's just me putting up with things, and going way above and beyond and proving that I know how to dodge the boss's patterns. That's just me putting up with things until the game decides that it's ready to let me win. which is irritating as all fuck. So this fight, the rest of the dungeon hasn't been so bad so far. Like, there's some clever bits, but this one fight in particular, this is not cool. Now, I hope people can tell me something that I'm being stupid about. Oh, UD, you missed this incredibly obvious thing, which should have shown that you would have gotten this solved in the first 2 seconds and when you came in here. And I realize I'm not necessarily the most perceptive person to all player training cues, but really, what am I missing? I don't know what I could be doing here. I remember there was a hint that the owl talked about diving near torchlight, but there's no way that's applicable here. There's nowhere to dive and there's no torch. I can only see myself waiting and just going through the motions until the game decides it wants to let me win. How is that not lame? I don't see that not being lame. I guess there's not much more to say until I just... This can't be much more fun to watch than it is to do. I don't really have anything to talk about until these things decide they want to be vulnerable long enough for me to wear their health bars down. I say health bar metaphorically, of course, because there's no visible bar. Wear their health down. That's one. Ready to do that all over again on mid-boss number 3? There's 2 mid-bosses in the same room, and I fought that skeleton. Come on. Enough's enough. I've shown I know how to do this. You're just fucking with me now. This is stupid. There's no way I can call this good game design. This is something I would expect of a no-name game developer that vanished after the mid-1990s. You know, a game developer that didn't know how to design games, and that's why they failed. Nobody liked their shit. This is the kind of stuff I would expect from that. Disgruntled sigh. I got nothing here. I have to hit it like 5 times, I think? And you thought there was a part of this video that you would like less than the opening monologue. Well, you might still like this more than the opening monologue. You might have really hated that. And if so, I apologize. I'm sorry. These are the things I think about when I play games. I endeavor only to express my thoughts honestly. And if that makes me a whiny pissy pants, then maybe that's what I am. Speaking of whining, I'm going to do a little bit right now. Come on! For fucking serious! What do I have to do? This is retarded! I'm hearing it growl when I hit it, but I don't think that matters. Because I've seen it open its eye when I don't hit it for a long period of time. Oh no, it's not growling when I hit it. It growls when it lunges at me. This is despicable. Seriously, I'm at a loss. Who at Nintendo thought this was a good idea? You can't see it, but I'm shaking my head. I'm just in disbelief. Open your fucking eye, for serious. My thumb is hurting from how much I'm having to track your motion so I can be ready to hit your eye at a moment's notice. Like I failed to do right there. Because I was trying to dodge your projectile. I will actually be happy to be proved wrong here. If somebody can point out some element of this encounter that would have made this easier than I'm making it right now. Really, I'll be happy to be wrong. I'll be happy to say, okay, I was incorrect, I screwed up, I missed some obvious cue that would make this fight less bullshit than it is. Seriously, I hope somebody can point that thing out. I would like to find excuses to like this game, because there are some good things in this game, some really good things. But that was fucking upsetting. I just came from here! What did that boss fight get me? Was it just a teleporter? Because usually, so far, the teleporters have just been going back to the entrance. Let's take it and see where it goes. Yeah, this is where I've been! So, I need a key. Wait, have I spent my key already? Yes, I spent it. Or wait, is that in the pop-up menu? Well, either way, I've spent my key already. So I need one key to... Because I can see where the nightmare door is. I've passed it a couple of times. I need one key to get past a block of the nightmare door. And then... that blocks the nightmare door. And then I need the nightmare key. Where the hell are those things, I wonder? Here's a place where I visited before, but I haven't yet used the hookshot. So, is this going to be a regular key or the nightmare key? Oh, the nightmare key. Okay, so I still need to... There's a final key block that's blocking the nightmare door. Well, I visited all the rooms. I gotta be missing something. I'm gonna go back to the room right before the nightmare door. Oh, okay. Here I am again, and I'm pretty sure I just found where the last key was that would open up the nightmare door, or the block before the nightmare door. Haven't been back here since I got the hook shot. And what would you bet? Ba-dome. Okay, so now for sure I'm going back to the nightmare door. That stupid battle with the crabs, which seemingly had no reward. Not only was it... like, it wasn't difficult. It was just stupid. It was just time-consuming. It wasn't a good fight by any means. Like, I can see having an optional boss battle in a dungeon that's hard, and you don't really get any reward out of it. You just want it to be optional and have it be hard so you can have the player say, yes, I did it. But that wasn't hard. It just required me to wait. Awful. Awful. And there's no reward to it either. I mean, if you don't have to have a reward if the boss fight itself is actually really challenging and interesting, but it wasn't. Alright, let's see if there's an easy place nearby to fill up my hearts. 1 second. Nope, hell with it. I'm not going that far out of my way. Let's just take the boss on. So, you are an this is a snake, isn't it? You are an outsider. Come to wake the windfish. I shall eat you. Snake. Snake! Snake! Oh no, you look more like a catfish than a snake. Whoa, good lord! I'm feeling I gotta hook shot this, probably, maybe, I don't know. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I should just try slashing its mouth, but I will keep the hook shot available. Yeah, the hook shot's going right through the edge of this thing, or the end of this thing's tail, so I'll just assume that's not it. Maybe I should try hook shotting its mouth. Below me soon, I think. Or above me. Nope, pointed the wrong direction. I screwed up. Oh, you're not going in a linear clockwise or counterclockwise pattern. Well, how am I supposed to know where you're going to pop up then? I just have to wait? Are you being affected by me somehow? Really hard to position myself in this... Oh! Okay, so that heart is obviously your vulnerable point. But getting access to you is not the easiest thing ever. This is shaping up to be way harder than that fish underwater fight from the last dungeon. So close. Ah! The timing was off. I don't want to go to the other side because I don't understand the pattern of what's causing him to move, so for all I know... I just have to wait until he randomly pops up in the one, because he could come back on the other side and I'd be then incorrectly situated again. So it's just as effective for me to sit here and wait for him to pop up out of the one that I want him to come up out of. I wonder if one person designed this whole dungeon. Or maybe one person designed the dungeon and puzzle and level geometry, which have so far been pretty clever. And then another person designed the fights, which have so far either been A, gimmicky, or B, completely stupid. I have to be on the other side of the map, or I don't get much opportunity to attack you. I haven't hit this guy effectively once. No, I can't. I thought maybe I could clip through the bulk of the tail and would only get hurt by the ball and chain end of it, but nope, the whole thing hurts me, so I have to stay in the corners. Yeah, I have zero opportunity to attack you there. I have to basically be on the other side of the room. Which means I'm, again, completely at the mercy of an RNG here. Again, unless I'm being really stupid and avoiding, missing something completely obvious. There's gotta be a better way to do this. Or maybe there isn't, and it's just stupidly designed like that crab battle was. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why do you not have the heart thing? Wait, so these are multiple enemies? They're not all the same guy? Okay, so it only takes one hit to kill you. Oh no, there's a real one and then there's fake ones. Well, how do I know which one's the real one? And how do I do it without taking another hit? Wow, the positioning of this fight is ridiculous. Oh, and I'm dead. Great. Attempt number 2. Just kind of looking forward to this dungeon being over. I feel like I've gone through all the good parts now. So how do I know which one is the real one? Is there a limited number of fakes? Like, if I just keep pulling them out, will I eventually drill down to the real one? Because I've seen the real one come out of, I think, 3 out of the 4 holes. I'm betting they'd come out of all 4. Come on. Yeah, that doesn't work. I gotta be on the other side of the room or it doesn't matter. Ouch. I might as well just sit here and wait until I see the right one come out. My sword kept clipping on its head, which is invincible. I have to hit the section right behind it. It's got the giant glowing fuck me heart. Sounds like a Valentine, doesn't it? My boyfriend sent me a fuck me heart, and we had a great Valentine's Day. Yeah, okay, so I'm just sitting in an arbitrary corner until one of the mouths puts it... Like, the combination of the timing of the tail and one of the mouths comes out on the opposite side of the room for me to hookshot, because I'm ineffective in any other capacity, and if I try to move myself around, then I'm at the mercy of the RNG, and I am potentially just as ill-positioned. Jesus. This is ridiculous. There's maybe a pattern to this. I'm gonna watch and see if I notice a pattern. So lower left, lower right, lower right, lower right, lower right. Okay, so this is affected by my movement? No. Upper right. Lower left. Don't know. There's a... Let me pause this for a second. There's a giant, disgusting bug on my wall. I want to get rid of it. Alright, sorry about that. Creepy crawlies are not welcome in my abode, and I make sure they know that. Oh, get the mouse out of there. Okay, well, I'm glad I can sit here and wait for this boss fight to resolve itself. Never, ever, ever, for any great amount of time, should you be able to say about a video game boss fight, or any enemy encounter, really, you have to wait for, etc. You have to wait for something to happen. Why, God, must I wait? The level design of this dungeon has actually been fairly good. I don't really have any complaints about the level design. It's these two boss fights that have completely fucking killed it for me. I gotta be missing something. Am I missing something, or is this really all there is to the fight? Come on, show up down there already, would you? I have to keep doing this until you die, so we're just prolonging the pain for both of us here. Yeah, I have... Can I affect the tail somehow? Ah, fuck me sideways. Why didn't that grab him that time? Because there's a small window when you can actually grab him, I guess. See, that one hit, even though I felt like my sword was mostly in his head, not in the frontmost tail segment. Why didn't that grab him? Because I was on the other side of the room. Can I just stay on the edge? Will the tail hit me if I stay on the edge? No, it won't. It'll just barely graze by me. So I'll stay here. Fuck. Why, the goddamned hell biscuits. Half the time I don't have an opportunity to grapple with him because the tail gets in my way. You cannot die fast enough, sir. I've spent far too much time on this already. Well, you're one of the fake ones. And you explode, which hurts me, so I gotta move away after I hit you once. I think that's how that works. I really don't want to start this over again. Ah, shit! At the mercy of the RNG here. So get away from him while he explodes, okay. So now, is there a limited number of those copycats? Or is it just a random chance that I could pull that one out instead of the real one? Say I've killed 3 of them now, the copycats. So because of the number of holes, you'd think that every time I pull the dude out, it'll be the real one. But I just do not have faith of that. This is great. This is wonderful, incarnate. Jesus has descended from on high to piss in my eyes, and the heavenly urine flows into my ocular cavity. Nope. Fuck! Fair warning before I go into this. That was the last attempt I'm going to record on camera until victory. This is just too much. Yeah, so unless there's something substantially new that's worth seeing, but who knows. Okay, attempt number 3. Oops. Oh. Do they just explode whether or not I hit them? Because I don't think I landed a hit on that thing. Yeah, it just explodes after a bit. Damn it. What determines if it's a real one or not? This is making something that's already difficult into a complete fucking waste of time. It's not difficult in a good way, it's difficult in a bullshit way. Except, no, this doesn't deserve the word difficult. Damn it. That took only 3 attempts, but still, I feel like printing this game onto a Game Boy cartridge so I can stomp it under my heel. Tisk, you don't seem to know what kind of island this is. Kee-hee-hee-hee-hee, what a fool, kee-hee. Okay. I'm honestly too pissed off right now to care about story intrigue. What is this, a xylophone? You've got the wind... marimba? I'm not familiar with what type of instrument that is. Those 2 boss fights, the 2 crab mid-boss and then that thing, the catfish with the long tail, those have been by far the worst thing in this game so far. Like, I thought the control conveniences were bad. I thought the overworld busy tasking, fetch questing was bad. That shit pales to what I just did. And it didn't take even that many attempts, just the design of it is mind-numbingly fucking bad. That is so bad! Before, I mentioned, like, at the end of the last video, my opinion of this game was hovering somewhere around a 6.5 out of 10. That just dropped it to like a 4. Maybe a 3.5, because holy shit. I hope the rest of this game is much better than that. A secret in the island shrine, hoopa-doopa-doo. Facepalm, facepalm, facepalm. I'm so sorry. Oh, talking bad about a Zelda game. I didn't even get that much feedback for taking the piss out of Sonic 2, and you know how Sonic fans are. But a Zelda game, oh god. I wanted to like this game a lot better than I'm liking it. Oh. Okay, that's enough for now. That's enough for now. God damn.